So ma'am, we'll have to keep our answers also a little crisp. I understand, everyone's got a lot of knowledge. AI. I was going to ask you myth or reality, but there is an in-between stage where we're talking of AI will become a part of everything. So where do you see AI? Is it a technology that will go bust? Is it going to, is it reality here and now, or is it something that will be there for 10, 12 years, or 5 years and then will move to the next? Over to you.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be on the panel discussion. I think you spoke about artificial intelligence, the gap between myth and reality. I think it is a reality in fact, because I think artificial intelligence, as it says, should be used intelligently. If it's not used intelligently by human beings, I think it would anyway not deliver any value. I think a lot of things that we can see is it will be an enabler for making better decisions. For example, let's say I've seen on Facebook, there are a lot of posts that come. For example, let's say there's an all-woman tour that's being done for some exotic location abroad. So I think artificial intelligence is being used very smartly for targeting women and for a process called as micro-segmentation and for customization. So I think artificial intelligence is something that will help human beings. It will not threaten them, but I think it will help them to make better decisions. It will help them to carve out the needs of the consumer in a much better manner. And obviously the productivity of the employees, the marketing professionals, or the supply chain managers, all their productivity would go up. I think the catch is in using this in a very intelligent and in a very robust manner. That's what I believe.
We'll take a second answer here, okay, from one more person, because we've got limited time, and then we'll move on to the next question, which is what is, more relevant to the session. So, sir,
when you talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning and robotics, it was a concept which arrived a bit early. And that's why people sometimes say AI is going to be another myth. It arrived in the 80s. The other components which would have made it realize its full potential were not ready at that point of time. Today, AI, machine learning, and along with the robotics technology has matured and reached a stage where the whole workplace is getting transformed. And this is not a hypothetical scenario. You walk into even today's modern Indian plants, much of manufacturing is shifting or has already shifted to the robotic technology. It is essential to understand the speed at which it's happening. Because many of the countries, and we as a management professionals have to think what kind of jobs will be there in future, have been doing the manufacturing competitive advantage because of the low labor cost. But the labor itself may not be required to that extent as it has been required in the past, so we lose that cost advantage. The fact remains that technology of robotics and its applications in around 2012, earlier also they were making pace in Japanese manufacturing, etc. and so on, began to take a new shape. And that new shape has been growing from 2012. By 2022, much of it will be replaced. And the simple examples are, if you look at Amazon.com, one of the great retailer of the world, in only 3 years back, its revenue was only about $107 billion. Then it became $135 billion. And then this year, or just ended year, it's about $180 billion. What's important is that when they had $107 billion of revenue, they had 470,000 employees. Today, with the almost 50% increase in their revenue, or even 80% increase in their revenue, the manpower component has gone up to only about 570,000. So almost doubling or raising that much retail space, the manpower revenue is not there. Then who is doing all these fulfillments? They've instead employed now about 50,000 robots, which are called Kiva robots, which are doing all the fulfillments. Which means the future management professionals have to be ready to work and manage a workspace which will be consisting of human beings as well as these humanoids which are going to do the job, Difference in the two is the human beings, as we all know, has the emotional part, the tiredness part, breaks are required, while the robotic part do not require that. I'll end with a very simple example. Many of you may have noticed Amazon itself produces a vacuum cleaner. A tiny vacuum cleaner with the same machine learning embedded in it. You can program it, leave it in your house, if it's, especially in the US, which are all carpeted house, and it continues to walk around the whole house. It knows where the obstruction is, how to go into a corner, how to get out of a corner, and continuously cleans your house. And then when it's running out of the charge, it also knows its docking station, goes and docks itself, and recharges, and continues to do the job. Now, these are the applications with the what I call the $1,500, $1,000 applications which are being deployed by household. Factories, you can see the same kind of technology will be utilized, and that's why the future management gadgets have to integrate in their learning, managing a mixed environment.
Let's get down to now students and the BSchool part. And ma'am, once nobody wished me for International Men's Day yesterday, and I'm not disrespecting you for that. And I'm not, yeah, exactly, nobody knew about it, so I'm not discriminating. We'll start with the man this time. So, it's what we understand is it's here to stay, and it is reality. Now, y'all process or y'all get ready a lot of the younger talent to go into the corporate world, and now AI, what we heard, what we read about is becoming a reality. What is the role that y'all are playing to integrate AI into the student's curriculum to get him ready for the outside world, because processes are kind of changing. So
the concept of AI and robotics was invented by a very famous Nobel laureate, Herbert Simon, at Carnegie Mellon University in early 80s. He was a behavioral scientist, but he worked with a computer scientist to create artificial intelligence, because he knew the functioning of the brain and the limitations of the brain, and he also understood, the computer scientist understood the limitations of machines. So that's the origin. Now, coming back to innovation in the learning in the classroom in BSchool, and let me tell you our own experience, our own experimentations. I am Sambalpur. We started a few months back. Not being the new BSchool, we thought let's do something very innovative in the class learning. We analyzed the traditional learning and traditional research by our faculty as well as by industry participation. So there are three main elements in the entire learning. The first element is students. Now, students' teaching is mostly sourced from overseas markets, like Harvard cases and so on. Very little is from Indian origin. Heavily loaded to overseas markets, the entire content. When it comes to the research done by our faculty members, we are contributing to a very inferior part of international academics, because very few are able to publish in FT50. So we get into A class, B class and C class in ABDC, which is again contributing to American academics in terms of very inferior side. And when it comes to industry, the third element, the interaction happen only at the time of placement or some talk. So we analyze this problem, that x-axis, when it comes to research, it is going somewhere. When it comes to teaching, we get it from somewhere. And if it comes to industry interface, it is nothing. So X, Y, Z are actually in the three different directions. We analyzed the situation and we said, let's experiment. And we created a learning management system implementation. And we introduced a system called Flipped Classroom, where all basic learning, which can be done by robotics, which can be done by AI, we said it can be done online, not in the classroom. So entire basic concept, learning accounting, learning basic things, which professor job is basically to interpret the books, we said let it be done away in the classroom. And students are given choice in the systems, where all the materials we have loaded, YouTube, video, etc. and the entire contents are given online in this LMS system. And students and faculty can interact outside the class. When they come to the class, basically as in the morning Mr. Shiv Kumar was talking, when the Harvard started the case, they used to interact with the industry. So we are saying the project has to be given, live project to be by industry, which are still in the discovery phase, which is still in the unsolvable phase. Let that problem come in the class. And faculty member has to provide a theoretical foundation how this problem has to be solved. A student has to learn that theoretical foundations and along with professors solve inside the class. So entire learning in the project which used to happen offline, which used to happen at home, we said let that happen in the class. Whatever learning is to happen inside the class, that basic concept, PPT, case, we say outside the class, online. So AI and machine learning is a great tool, let me tell you. We have experienced ourselves. Machine learning we are using for examinations. For example, midterm exam, subscriptive exam, even descriptive exam with short answers. We have given a model answers and students can take exam themselves. So the entire load on the faculty in terms of evaluating the grades etc. is reduced substantially so that he has more time, he has more time in the classroom to innovate new research and all the content we get created inside the class, that becomes our research. So we are saying we are disrupting the entire model of education in business school and that should become the focus using AI, machine learning and all other technology including Facebook, including social media, including all kind of digital technology, including mobile technology. Like in our class, we don't take attendance. Attendance is taken by the mobile phone, the photograph, and image processing technology is used to understand whether which students is present or not. And entire grading is given online. So the entire learning is actually getting disrupted. And this is the way I think AI should be used. And this is the way industry also wants that, because most of these jobs are done by machine automations. They want students should be well equipped with the creativity, with the new concept, etc. Thank you.
Once you're talking of AI as an enabler in your industry, okay, I am talking of what is being done to enable students who are coming out of these institutions, and I think that's what we need to kind of share, to get them future ready, because if jobs are changing, the way people are kind of working is changing, remote workplaces, AI all over the place. So once you add to what he's saying, okay, awesome.
So the question is AI and ML. How is it going to change the future of jobs and what are BSchools doing? I'll answer that and what SIBM Pune is doing. I'll also answer the question that he asked, will AI replace human beings? So if you look at AI, what it's doing right now, you've got chatbots. Chatbots are all there. So when you're asking questions to some call center representatives, it's not call center representatives who are answering them, it's the chatbots who are answering them. So it's already changed. So that level, jobs are already lost. It's chatbots, and unless a chatbot is not able to answer your question, only then it goes to a call center representatives. So let us imagine if tomorrow, when my student is going to go and take up the job, what if his emails are automatically answered? That's an application of AI, and that's going to happen not very far, possibly 5 years from now. So he or she will have a lot of time productive to do something better. So this application of AI is going to happen that instead of sitting and replying to an email, my AI will take, my ML will take, based on what is written in the email, to go and reply automatically those mundane emails. So if that's going to happen, I look at 3 things that's going to happen which is going to change as far as the future of jobs are concerned. First one, human to machine interaction. A lot of human to machine interaction is going to happen. So right now we are telling, okay Google, and ask Google question. So that's going to happen a lot, and industry is going to use that. The second is a lot of smart process automation. That's already there in the manufacturing sector. It's going to happen even more. So a lot of smart process of automation is going to happen. Third, a lot of advanced analytics is going to happen with respect to decision making. Let me give you an example of how this will change the future of job. Today, the role of an HR manager is to go and predict attrition and say, hey, is this person going to leave? Let me see, I go and retain this person. That's the role of the HR manager today. What is the role of HR managers 5 years from now? He or she should be able to understand with the help of an R analytics program, based on churning out the email, telling what is the possibility for this person to leave. That's the rule. So the person who is going to be an HR manager should be able to use an R analytics tool to go and predict attrition. That's going to be completely different from what the HR manager is doing now. So as a part of the HR course, we are making them go and understand R analytics using a package called Senti Analytics, for example. Not rocket science. If someone knows, go and use just using that package, go and say click here, look. It throws out a graph, and the graph shows how the sentiment of an employee is changing over a period of time. So if the sentiment is changing to negative, there is a good chance that this fellow is not satisfied. So this will be the role that the HR manager will be playing, which is not played today. So hence, we are making them learn such stuff. So tomorrow, it's not going to be that the person is not employable. It's going to change. Is the person employable or not employable will not be the question. Is the person employable in an augmented workplace, where certain things will be done by tools. So it will not be replacing humans for sure. Certain things will be done by tools and certain things will be done by humans. Are we having the potential to take it up and do both of them together is what will be happening in 5 years from now.
Actually, look at it differently. This, the industry 4.0, that is the talk of the town and in India that we are implementing, has actually in a very initial stage where the planning process for automation of the manufacturing unit is happening. Now, with that newer concept coming to India, artificial intelligence, ML, then Internet of Things has come into existence. Now, if I look at artificial intelligence, I look at it a gradual change in the process, which would bring a lot of growth in the economy and other things. But as the BSchool, when I analyze and look at the growth path of the students, I take it as a process where, rightly saying, ML is the key there, where our students, as this very moment of time, need to understand that how the machine works, how would the data interpretation happen, and then gradually grow to the application of artificial intelligence. So, as the BSchool, at our place, we have probably tried to change the curriculum where the need of the hour, which is majorly to do with the big data, is being implemented. The courses like cloud computing, the courses like data analytics, the courses like digital marketing, which are the requirement as of now. Because if you see stepwise from Industry Revolution 1 to 4 that we are entering into, a lot of technological changes that have happened, and we as the country and the youngest country of the world were able to cope up. Digitization sometime back was a big question mark, and before that computerization was a big question mark. But when it comes to learning and implementing, if the institution take that role to look after and take care of the present challenges, probably that works. So digitization over a period of time was working. We as the institution identified it 4 years back, where we introduced this course of digital marketing, where all the marketing specialization people actually required that. And now with that kind of a learning, they are able to do and excel well in their jobs. So probably next is the data interpretation, data analytics, and then probably that is the role where, that is the key, where the human and the machine would come into interaction. So we ideally are working on those parameters stepwise, and then of course the artificial intelligence, I take it in two different areas. One is our own personal lives and the automation of the things surrounding and the sensitization of the human beings to the different machines that we use. The second is when it comes to career, that how would that influence the career prospect of the students. Yes, of course, this is far more easy for the technology students. Maybe BTech students would do it better. They have more perspectives to get into and get into the research and develop themselves more employable. But when it comes to management students, probably the role would be there where the interaction between the machines and the human is important. So the need of the hour is to probably develop that kind of the courses more, where the students of management can be made more employable for the longer perspective, say 5 years time or something, because that is the time when the artificial intelligence would actually have the role and have an impact on the placeability and the employability of the people. So I think with Industry 4, huge things happening around, So yes, we should be sensitive and sensitize our people to it, but then is the stepwise learning that need to be given. I cannot jump my students right from the digitization to artificial intelligence in one go. So that is the thought process that we have at Asian Business School, and then trying to do the things better for the students. Yes, when it comes to application, as he was talking, automation of majority of the system with the help of artificial intelligence, yes, that is happening everywhere, because that is the technology that is going to make our life easy as the academic institution. So that is how what I look at, that artificial intelligence would, yes, there are predictions. I don't know how far it would be true that AI would replace the human beings, but of what industry? That is still question mark. Yes, as of now, when I analyze and see, get into the research, manufacturing industry, yes, for sure, there would be the job crunch. But all other industries, when I look at, probably it's not that scary. So, the only point is that what steps do we take and have a gradual shift to artificial intelligence? That is my